What is up, guys? ProdRiddiman here. Welcome back to a brand new video, everybody. Today we are going to be covering something a little bit unexpected, and that is a brand new discord.py tutorial. Now, the reason why I say it's a little unexpected, is because that if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you may remember that a while back I announced that I wasn't going to be uploading to it anymore, as I basically covered everything basic within the library and Discord in general. Now, obviously, a lot of time has passed by since then, and a lot of new features have been added to Discord and its Python API. And now, there's a lot of more new things that I can actually cover with you guys, and a lot of new, fresh ideas have been running through my head, and I really want to share them with you all. And today I'm sharing one of them, which is a simple warn system for our Discord bot. Now, before we get into that, I did want to take a second to thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers. As promised, a face reveal video with a Q&A section, a part of it, will be coming out later this week if things all go according to plan. I really never expected that I'll even hit that milestone on my channel. Even when I hit 100 just about 8 months ago, even that had really shocked me. So again, I thank you guys so much for all the support you have given me, and I dedicate my face reveal video to all of you. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our tutorial. Now, we are making a simple warn system that essentially allows us to add a warn to a specific user on command. And the way we're going to save those warns, that way we all know how many warns each user has, is via JSON. So we're going to go ahead and import JSON to our file here. And now we need to take a step back and actually create some things in our directory. One of which is going to be a JSON file. Or not file, but a folder first, then a file. And I usually put my JSON folder inside my cogs folder just because it's been a habit of mine forever now, so that's what I always been doing. Of course, you can have it somewhere else if you would like, as long as you have the correct directory pasted in your with open blocks later on. But anyways, now we're going to go ahead and create our JSON file. And then I'm going to call it warns.json. And inside here, I'm going to go ahead and put a set of curly braces and exit out of that. And now we can go ahead and create our two events. Now, if you know what these two events are, and you've guessed them as on guild join and on guild remove, then you are correct. Good job. So we're going to go ahead and make those. So client.event sync def on guild join. We're going to go ahead and pass in guild. And inside here, we're going to go ahead and open up our JSON file. So with open, open it in read mode and label the file as F. Define our data inside that JSON file. And then go ahead and start creating some dictionaries. Now, the reason why I convert our guild ID to a string is because by default, when you search for a guild ID in discord.py, it returns an integer. And if you know how dictionaries work, we cannot have an integer as our key. It has to be a string, so we will have to convert it to a string first. But other than that, now we need to make sure we load every single member that was already in that server into our JSON file. And by doing that, we're going to use a for loop. So for member in guild.members, which returns a list. And then we're going to go ahead and append them to our JSON file. And like how we have to convert guild ID to a string, we also need to do the same thing to our member ID. So member.id. And then this is also going to be another dictionary. Then after that, we can go ahead and copy and paste that and then append to it. And then we can call this infractions. Also guys, I do apologize if my voice sounds a little off. I am kind of sick today, so just bear with me everyone. But after that, we can now go ahead and save to our JSON file. Obviously, if we're saving, we want to open it in writing mode. And then dump it into here. With an indentation of 4, so that way when it indents, we have 4 spaces, like we would while programming. And after that, we can go ahead and copy and paste this just under here. And then change this join here to remove. Instead of this for loop, we can just get rid of that and then just type in data.pop or data, however you pronounce it. And then we can just insert the string of guild.id. And that's it. We are now done with our main file. Now essentially what I have done here is I've made it to where when a bot joins a server, it automatically loads them into the JSON file along with all the server's members. While in the remove part, basically it just removes that server. So that way we don't have unnecessary data inside our JSON file. And that way we can save a lot of storage. And this is really useful if you're running your server on a cloud hosting platform and you don't want to spend a lot of money on that extra storage. This is a good way to save storage right here, guys. So I definitely recommend that. But now we can go ahead and create our cog. So I'm going to go ahead and call this here warnsys.cog. Hi, sorry. And inside here, we're going to go ahead and import Discord. And then we're going to import commands from discord.extension. And then we're going to import JSON. And then we're going to go ahead and create our cog, which by doing so, we have to create a class. And we can just call this warnsys. And then we're going to go ahead and pass in commands.cog. And inside here, we're going to create our init method. So then we're going to go ahead and pass in client. And then we're going to go ahead and type in self.client is equal to client. And then we can go ahead and make our listener event. So commands.cog.listener. And this is just to show us that our cog is working and it is online. And this is a neat little thing I like to do. Instead of just specifically typing in warnsys is ready, what we can do is we can type in, set of curly braces, name is ready or is online, whatever you prefer. This name variable just stores the name of this file. And then after that, we can go ahead and create our add warn or just warn function or command. So commands.command. And then we're going to pass in context and then member, which is going to be our discord.member object. And in here, we need to open up our JSON file. In reading mode, label it as F, and then define our data. Then we need to write a couple conditionals. So the first one is going to be if member.id not in ctx.guild.id. And what this is basically looking for is it's looking for a case that where a member's ID is not located in the JSON file. Any time that this can occur is if a member joins a Discord server later on after the bot has already joined, because if you remember in our main file here, we had it to where once the bot joins, it automatically adds all the member inside the server. However, that doesn't include members that join the server later down the line. So we want to have a little conditional here that checks for that. And if this ends up passing as true, then we're going to append them to the JSON file. And then we can go ahead and copy and paste this. Add our infractions tab, or key, I'm sorry. And then we're going to set it to 1. And then we're going to type in await, dtx.send. And then we can just type in warn added, just to confirm that this had worked correctly. And then we're going to type in an else block. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to copy and paste this right here. Instead of =1, we're going to put in +=1, because it's going to add 1 to the already existing number that's there. Excuse me. And after all that, we're going to go ahead and open, and then we're going to save our JSON file. And that's it. And of course, we can add a little message here. All right, we are all good to go. Now we can go ahead and make our remove warn command. And doing that, it's just as simple as this. Just copy and paste it. We can type in remove warn. And then instead of adding a warn here, what we're going to do is type in, or change this to user has no warns. And then in the else part, we're going to put in -= instead of += because we want to take away from the already existing warns. And that's it. Now let's look up the warns. And we can just call this warn, or find warns, or find warns, whatever you want to call it. Find warn, self, ctx, and then member. Of course, you can even just add this here user information command if you really wanted to. Then we're going to go ahead and open up our JSON file again. And actually, what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this whole part. Should have thought about that from the start, but we can leave this the same, and inside here we can just remove that, and then I want to copy and paste this entire line, and then we're going to make this an f string. We're going to type in member.mention as, and then we're going to change this to single quotes, otherwise we will get a syntax error. And then we can type in infractions /warnings. Just change it up a little bit to make it correct grammar. And now we don't even have to save it to our JSON file because we're just reading from it. So this is all we really need. And now we can just go ahead and make our setup function. Sorry guys, my brain kind of froze on what I'm supposed to put in there. That's it. We are now good to go. We can go ahead and test this out. So I'm going to go ahead and run my bot. And I'm going to go ahead and just drag this to the side, ignore OBS. Alright, there we go. Now I haven't invited my bot yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright. Now as you can see, now that I have added my bot to my server, all that data just got appended. Now let's go ahead and try to warn ourselves. And I think this is my ID right here. So we want to look for this 0 to change to a 1. And it did. Great. Let's try it again. Great, we have 3 warns. Now let's try warning our alt. And it worked. Now our alt has 1 warn. So let's try the remove warns. Now we want to see if this changes from a 3 to a 2. And it did. Now let's try to warn lookup. Or find warns. And it worked. So we have 2 infraction / warns. Let's try this again, but on our alt. And just for giggles, let's do it on our bot as well. Yep, so we have no warnings. Great, so our bot works as intended. All of our commands work. Now, let's talk about a couple of fail-safes that we should probably add to this system here. One of which is a way to check if the user has the correct permissions to actually run these commands. Now, there are 2 ways that I know of that we can do this. One is commands.hasPermissions. And essentially what this does is you can add in something like administrator is equal to true, or manage messages is equal to true, something like that. You can check for certain permissions, or you can also check for certain roles. And inside here, I think all you have to do is just check I think all you have to do is just add in the name or the ID of the role, and that works just like that. So you can add all of those to all of your warn system commands. And another safeguard or failsafe that we would want to add is we'd want to check if the user has 0 warns before trying to remove one. Because with the way that this works, it just keeps on taking away warns if you remove warn from someone else. So something you might want to do is check if they already have 0. So I'm going to make a comment here. If user has no warns, just to like explicitly give an example of what I'm talking about. And then we can like send a message. ctx.send user has no warns, something like that. That is something you guys might want to add. And another thing that we can do if you really wanted to is you can make an event here that goes through every message that's sent in that server, and essentially it'll look for the message's author. And if the message's author has a certain amount of warns, it can kick or ban them. That's up to you guys. That's only compatible with single server bots though. So if your bot is in multiple servers, that will not work very well. That'll work for every single server, but that's not what you're likely going to want. But if you have your bot just in your server only, that might be something you can consider adding. But other than that, that is basically everything for this video. As you can see, our warn system works perfectly. you guys can use this in your moderation commands and whatnot. But that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more just like it, be sure to let me know in the comments, or you can let me know by joining my Discord server, typing in the general chat, hey, I really liked this video, can you post more? Something like that, guys, will keep me going. So if you do like this video, go ahead and do one of those two things. Also, leave a like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton. Again, thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. Hope you are all excited to see that face reveal in next week. But other than that, you all have a great day. Oh, and by the way, my Discord server is in my description for those of you who want to join. But without further ado, you guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
Just ride around the nursery and count sheep.